That should be good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What it do?
I'm Dorian,
I'm Aaron.
and we are humanity's last hope. Welcome to the podcast.
And we motherfucking back. Let's go.
And we back.
Yeah.
First, quick word from our sponsors, Anime Kills, which is our brand, our brainchild. You guys tap in with that. Anime Kills.
I low-key thought you was about to say our bae.
I was gonna say our baby, but then I stopped myself.
Fuck it. That is our bae.
It is our
It's
baby.
one of our
Like this
baes.
is it's one of them. It's
I got a
one of
wife.
them. So we're exceptionally proud of it. So you guys tap in with that. Streetwear, gym wear. We got a new launch coming up here very, very soon. So stay tuned. That's Anime Kills, ANIM3 KILLZ. And from our second sponsor, Brown Shoe Fit, which is a sit and fit shoe store, traditional, where you go in, they measure your feet, they do whatever you need to do to get you fitted for a proper pair of shoes. And if you mention this ad at the Muskogee, Oklahoma location, I'll give you $25 off.
Get the kicks and get the $25. That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
That's like a Black Friday deal for real.
I'm literally giving you $25 out of my pocket.
Yes.
There you go.
It's not free. But today, you know what I'm saying? It's been a week or two since me and my guy connected.
Has it?
Two,
it has.
My
Bro,
guy's been
whoa.
busy. This is the crazy shit. Like when it comes to entrepreneur lifestyle, I would say you're living it more than I am because you have multiple businesses. You really have to like be flexible. You dig? Like you have to be able to adapt on the fly. And I think that you've been doing a great job. We've been doing a great job. And our commitment to this, conversation, discussion, it shows that we made a good choice. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a lot of these conversations, and I feel they've prescribed or pushed us to a point where they're valuable. You know what I'm saying? Not even just from like a put out there to the world display situation, but more so a therapeutic. I like talking about this type of shit randomly, no matter how comfortable. We had our uncomfortable conversation earlier. It's just the fact that we're able to have these conversations repetitively on a consistent basis and not like feel a certain type of way after, for the most part. And if we do, this is one thing I think I haven't commended you on from the last situation we had. You know what I'm saying? Because all friends go through some trials. My nigga, I was shocked you called me the other day, about 2 weeks ago, and apologized for something. And I wasn't expecting it, but the fact that you did it was just kind of like a growth perspective. You told me you've been working on yourself, and ain't nothing like somebody telling you you've been working on yourself, but then like actually showing you that they working on yourself. So I wanted to commend you for that, my guy, because to call somebody and apologize is like the ultimate form of vulnerability to me, to be able to apologize for something you did or said. Despite the other person's reaction or like whatever they were accountable for. In that situation, that was very much inspiring and humbling. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Wanted to tell everybody about it. You did. Because those is rare situations to give people flowers on those type of therapeutic growth situations.
Yeah. Well, just to provide a little bit of context for everybody, like I'm not the greatest communicator in terms of frequency. So during the conversation, I'm okay with being vulnerable, still working on that. But for me, I tend to delay interactions just because I don't know why yet, but I know that it's a problem and I'm working on it. So I wanted to extend an apology to Aaron because, there were some things that we had been working on that I wasn't communicative on as in terms of the results. And so I just, I was like, man, I know what he's thinking right now. And when you've known somebody as long as we've known each other, you can kind of sense things and pick up on things. And I was sensing it for a few days, and I already knew Aaron was. So I preemptively gave my guy a call and just, spit it to him. But it's something. I've had to apologize twice about that. Once to Laura, my girl, because it was the same thing. And we had another little issue a couple of days ago. Actually, it was 2 days ago.
We love recent. What's up?
Oh yeah. Well, it was the communication thing. No, actually it wasn't. It was something that I had apologized for previously, and I was working through it and I made the same mistake, and she wanted another apology. And I told her I'm not going to apologize again. I already apologized for it. Sincere. You know,
That's such a nigga thing to do, bro.
well,
I
'cause-
respect it, but at the same time, I get where you're going. Go
you know
ahead,
what I'm
go
saying?
ahead.
Because I was like, look, I'm working on I'm working on changing the behavior, it was the communication thing, right?
Oh, shit.
I'm working on changing the behavior. I already apologized for it sincerely. I'm not gonna like repetitively apologize for something I'm working on because it'll dilute future apologies.
Yes.
Then my apologies mean nothing.
Yeah.
So I apologized. That means there is a sincere effort to change.
Yes.
So give me a little bit of grace here.
So great.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, my bad. 100%. Like, I see, especially with the grace thing, but I also see the fact of like where you seen the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Or
What do you mean?
like, so the opportunity of you saying, I've already done this, but at the same time, it was the at the same time moment. At the same fucking time, you're justified what the fuck you're saying.
No, I wasn't though.
Oh, you weren't.
No, I wasn't justifying it.
No. She was justified in what she was saying or asking of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
so not you.
No, she 100% felt like she deserved another apology.
Yeah. So, but she was justified in it. But at the same time, it's just tough because you're already treading. It's like somebody saying, "Hey, you fucked up," and you're still in that like process of fixing the fuck up. And they say, "Hey, you fucked up again." It's like, nigga, let me fix this first fucking fuck up. Then talk to me about the next fuck up.
Okay, all right. So that's where you're going with it. Okay, I agree with that in part. But where I thought you were going with it, I was like, no, because I think it depends on the individual's perspective on an apology, right?
True.
You know, like-
okay. I didn't consider that.
You know,
good point.
You know, because some people view apologies differently. You know?
I do.
Yeah,
So
and
get
so
you.
I it sounds like you view apologies the same way I do.
Yes. I
It's
do.
like, look, all right, I'm not gonna sit here and like bend the knee to you every time I mess up. You know, there's just not gonna happen.
It's not gonna be a Game of Thrones every time.
No, like I'm not
motherfucker.
gonna sit here and just no, because one, it doesn't mean as much. Like I said, it dilutes future apologies.
Yes.
Two, at that point, it's like no, I like just as a man, I'm just not gonna do
But
it.
can I be vulnerable with you real quick?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
so that for as a man, it's a pride thing.
Bro.
And I know. So wait, before you rebuttal, trust me, I know. So the fact is, I gotta get quiet. So the fact is that we're already vulnerable enough, given from our past, our situations where we don't communicate emotions whatsoever.
Nah,
Do you?
not to you.
No, not to me. I'm just saying to like our counterparts. Do you like? Were you? Excuse me. I'm making assumptions. Were you raised to like speak about your emotions?
Nah.
Oh, that's what I'm referring to. I'm talking
okay,
about like
okay.
communication of our emotional state.
It's like, bro, I didn't learn that skill till
That's
probably
what
in the
I'm
last
referring
like,
to. Like
5,
you
6
didn't learn.
years.
It's like so we haven't learned how to.
Well, a little bit longer than that now, but yes.
Yeah, we haven't learned how to communicate those in a fashion. So we're on that like path now.
I thought you were gonna say we're on the spectrum. Like, yeah, we damn near
Nah, fuck that. Like we're on the path now. So for us,
with our inability to communicate emotions for sure. But yes, I hear you.
so for us, it's like, we're accepting the growth of first identifying it. That's the biggest part, right? Then from there, working on it, right? So like I identified it, I agree, working on it. But we're getting hit again with that same situation is so uncomfortable. So fucking uncomfortable. It's like, bro, we just fucking talked about this. What? We just fucking talked about this. I addressed and identified that it's something I'm actively working on. Let me know, hey, this happened again. But don't ask for, like, I'm fucking working on it. I told you I was working on this shit like 2 days ago. But this is why I say this humbly is the fact that they still, and I respect this because I see it from the opposite perspective. They still need that like qualification or is it quantification or qualification? One of the two, where we identify that that was another mishap. I see what you're saying. I'm still working on it. Right? If we don't qualify it, and this is why I say this, is because we're going through the motions as if, oh, that was cool. That was fine. We gauge everything to the precipice I don't know why I keep trying to use fucking large words. I don't fucking know why, man. The precipice. Is that the fucking word?
Precipice is like the peak.
The peak, exactly. We're always trying to push it to the fucking limps, bro. Like to the absolute, like most we can to realize, you know what?
To the limit.
That's probably not the best way of going about it. Let me adjust, right? We don't realize it until we smack the fucking wall. So for us, we need those identifiers. But how you go about identifying it is what pisses me off or doesn't piss me off. And we ain't got to get too much into it because I know we're supposed to talk about something different.
Oh man, I mean, but
we're not even on this fucking topic.
I mean,
FYI.
but
let's keep
okay,
it going.
but you mentioned though. Okay, so you mentioned earlier, like it makes you uncomfortable.
Yes.
What specifically?
So,
and to give you an example, because I was uncomfortable when it happened the other day, right?
Okay, yeah.
The reason I was uncomfortable wasn't the behavior itself. It was the fact that I said I was going to change and I did the thing over again. Right?
Oh,
that's
so
what
you're uncomfortable. Your uncomfortability
with the fact that
internally.
I repeated the same mistake. That's what pissed me off. I was mad at myself more than anything.
I'm glad you brought that because that's part of the problem with us. Like, as just, I want to say men in general, to be honest with you, is usually the biggest resistance is the fact that you're more pissed about the fact that you did it again, and you're just expressing that externally to the person that's telling you, hey, you just did it again. They're trying to help you technically. They're trying to like identify it technically. And we're taking it out on them technically because
feels like you're getting preached at, you know, it feels like you're just like getting scolded a little bit.
It feels that way, but it's a fake ass feeling. It's so fake, bro. The reason I say it's fake as fuck is because the fact is that internally their voice is being externally their voice is being internalized. So we already internalized the fact that, oh shit, I did it again. Right? Their voice is now being internalized on compound of what we just said. Be like, hey, you just did it again. Almost like we're repeating it to ourselves. It's like, I fucking know I just did it again. Like, you know what I'm saying? You want to respond aggressively at that point. Usually when you tell yourself, what the fuck was that? Yourself that, you know what, I just did that again, my bad. Like internally, like, oh man, I just did that again. You don't do it so soft. You know what I mean? You be like, oh yeah, fuck, I just did that again. I fucked up. But an external person tells you that, it's like you get aggressive. It's like, it's more of a, you have to fight it as opposed to acknowledge it. And so you told yourself, you reprimanded yourself immediately. I'm assuming immediately after it happened, right? And then another person confirming it and saying on top of it, it's almost like an echo. Like it's like, hey, I just fucking told myself that. I know it. So your response was literally that. You said, I've been working on it. Like I know.
It's like kicking a dog when it's down.
Nah, it's not. It's like kicking yourself.
Because you're already kicking yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like kicking
you're kicking yourself. You already kicked yourself.
Exactly.
Then they said it again. It's like, you know.
No. They said it again, but you kicked yourself again. Because the reason you kicked yourself again is because the fact is you kicked yourself to begin with, right? Like I identified it, I fucked up, let me correct it. They're telling you and trying to make you aware of it to like identify and express like, hey, this is that situation. Hey, this happened. This is what I was talking about. This is something to give you an example of.
Yeah, because they don't know that you already
They don't
yourself.
know you've already done it. They don't. That's like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't see the other person come kick you. You kicked yourself.
So it's a double. So you got to deal with two sets of reactions.
So you don't have to, but you do it.
No, you have to. You have 100% have to deal with them. And when I say deal with them, I mean like you have to stave off the reaction. You have to push the reaction down, right?
I get
in
you.
order to not initiate, in order to one, like not make them feel a certain way,
Yes.
in order to two, not blow your top.
You have to manage your emotions.
You got to manage your emotions at that
I
point.
Get you.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you already like smacked the shit out yourself and they came in, it's like, who's going to get taken? Who's going to be the one that takes on that energy? It's going to be the next person to do it.
Right.
Which was her at that time. So I completely understand it because that shit happens in my marriage. And so it's tough to deal with shit like that because naturally.
Which, by the way, Aaron has come a really long way in his marriage from when I first met him. Dude's like an emotional savant these days. You know what I'm saying? Like he truly is like one of the most
I appreciate that.
properly emotionally regulated people that I know. So, this isn't just like some BS advice. But what you mentioned earlier, that conversation that you that little same exact, almost verbatim is what I had with Laura. So I was really tuned in. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely been there before.
Bro, it's verbatim because the fact is I can speak from your perspective.
Yes.
I understand it because I've seen it in a sense where it's played out exactly how you said. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm fucking working on this.
Yeah.
This is my battle.
Yeah.
I told you this was my battle.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it less of a battle, right?
Right.
So for you to tell me what the fuck I just told myself is out of line. Fucking out of line. After I told myself and expressed to you, out of fucking line. Shut up. That's literally your response to the shit, right?
That's what you want to say.
Yeah, it's your like internal response. But when it comes down to it, and this is why I say you got to be on both ends, because when it happens in your situation, you never hear that internal doubt. You don't know what the fuck's going on in somebody's head, right? And so when it occurs to you, it's just like, oh shit. Well, I was just trying to tell you, hey, this is that situation. To her, it could have been that same, you know what I mean, expression. Mm-hmm. And then for you to like gas on her, like, you know what I'm saying, and like, spin a 180 on her ass and all that type of shit. It's almost unfair, but at the same time, for you to realize that later on is the best option because you realized it. It would have been better to realize it in the moment, but it's so tough to deal with that type of shit in the moment.
Oh man,
in the moment, situations are tough.
Very hard. Yes,
especially when you're emotional, right?
Yes,
and going through that process is the toughest thing because both partners almost wish they could hear each other's thoughts. And to be honest with you, at this point in my marriage, I wish I could hear her thoughts to understand what the fuck she's talking about in some cases, even the stack.
Yeah.
And for her to understand what the fuck I mean.
Right.
Because I say this is what I mean. But it's almost like you speak Hebrew, she speaks like Chinese or Mandarin. You dig? It's like a whole different spectrum. So the best the best effort that you can have is just like regulation in those situations. So you regulate yourself and be like, that shit was uncomfortable. Real fast. So I did address to you, I was working on that, right? Mm-hmm. What did you mean by da, da, da? Like, so it's just more curiosity when it comes to those situations, but it's tough as fuck to like stop yourself.
It's hard to do that in the moment.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Stop yourself.
It's hard to be that
like,
understanding in the moment.
Nigga, like, chill out.
Yeah.
So it's a battle, bro. And that's just like, I don't know if it's most relationships or just some relationships or just all relationships, but I can't speak for that because I only know mine. But me personally, I think it's like a commonality in a lot of like males that think and operate the same way. We speak plainly, me and you, very clear, very plainly. This is what I'm saying. This is what I mean. If it doesn't get received by the other person, you be like, you know what? Like just earlier today, you was like, fuck, that might have been my fault because I expressed to you that I should be more in this side of things. I should have asked you more questions because I know you're not equipped to understand negotiation and this, that, and the third. That's growth, dude. Because before it's just like, nigga, why the fuck wouldn't you think that? That's obvious. Nigga, every businessman, but like, you know what I mean? You could take it there.
And you know, I think ultimately for me, what it is I just don't want to be the cause of someone else feeling uncomfortable. I just don't want to be that person anymore because naturally I'm very confrontational. Like I'm just ready to like pop off at any moment. Like that scene in the Avengers where they're like, hey, Banner, how do you do it? You know, how do you not, hey, how do you not turn into the Hulk all the time? Like, what's your trick? Like, da-da-da. He was like, I'm always angry. Like, I'm always ready for a confrontation. That's just who I am. It's like part of my nature. Now, that doesn't mean like I'm always angry. That doesn't mean I'm always in a bad mood or anything like that. It's just, I'm ready to take it there. And I think it's the same energy that's got me to where I'm at now. Like, all right, I'm ready to do whatever at a moment's notice. It doesn't matter. So for to that end, like, I know some people aren't as like, it's just unnecessary for me to be that way, So I have to kind of curb it, you know. I no, not kind of. I have to curb it so that there can be healthy discourse between me and the other person. Okay? So like for you, I notice like you're just not as confrontational as me, or maybe you learn to not be as confrontational as I am.
Definitely a learn.
Yeah.
Definitely a learn.
Because I noticed at the gym, the last time we worked out at Recomp, I accidentally filmed that guy. Remember? You were on this hack machine. He walks,
Oh, yeah.
and he walks over and he was like,
My God,
his approach is just
because I don't see him as much, but
yeah, his approach just like really threw me off. Like, bro, nobody's looking for you, bro.
No,
and if they are, why are you working out at like one of the most popular gyms in Texas?
And to be honest with you, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. And so when he said it, but when he came and he said it politely enough to where it was like, okay, I respect it. But at the same time, like nobody's checking for you. You're not that important. Just like how I feel about myself. You dig? Like if I'm in the back of you, I'm not that important. I'm not, unless I'm that important, unless I'm that unimportant, like nigga, you can't film me. I'm a CIA like type of shit. Then, you know, it's not a problem. But I definitely remember that situation. We were doing like hack squats. But,
Yeah.
The funny thing, I never thought you were a confrontational person, but for you to express that and then tell something like that is not a lot of people, bro, express their vulnerabilities like that or their weaknesses as much as that, as you express that. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people are confrontational. Not a lot of people are going to say it. Not a lot of people are going to address it. But the fact that you just say, you know, I'm a confrontational ass nigga, I'm trying to like actually just completely not disregard it, completely build on top of that. And there's not much need of it in my life.
There's no need for it.
Is a phenomenal way of expressing that who you are now doesn't mean you have to remain that way.
Nah.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, I appreciate the acknowledgement for real.
That's bro, that's so phenomenal. Hey, you know what? Hey, we this was unplanned as shit. This isn't even a fucking topic. Oh my God, bro.
I know,
but
man.
I feel so much more connected to my nigga because he says some profound shit that I didn't even fucking know. Like, to be honest with you, I never took you as a confrontational nigga. I just always see confrontation to where it's just such a norm or standard in conversation. I fucking watched a video. There's a fucking video. I gotta send you this video.
Send it to me,
There's
please.
a video on Instagram I watched where nigga was arguing over it's not real, it's a stage situation. Him and his homeboy. He said niggas argued over the dumbest shit was like the caption, right? I'm paraphrasing it. One dude was like arguing on a stance of water can't be wet, and another nigga was arguing over the stance of water can be wet. Nigga, it's like saying fire can be burnt, nigga. That's fucking stupid. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What are you saying? So you telling me water's not wet? Nigga, how can water be wet when water's water, nigga? It's like, it can't be wet because it's already fucking wet. Like, it's not like, bro.
I get you.
And it just reminded me of all of the fucking disagreements and arguments I had in college. Every fucking single one, bro. And the funniest part about it was those were the funnest arguments I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, it was never like really that to throat, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a pull this, but sometimes it can get there with, you know, certain people. But the funniest part about that shit was I sent this to my homeboy Rick, like, nigga, this is you. It's just, it feels, I never took you for that type of person, but we have had our disagreements.
Oh yeah.
Today was probably one of them.
Today was one of them.
And it wasn't really a disagreement, it was more a difference of understanding is the best way of saying it.
Agreed.
My understanding of something was different than your understanding of something when it came to something we both should be working on. And for the conversation, I was like, fuck, bro. I don't think I actually ever told this nigga the exact fucking price. And I was, wait, before you jump in, I was like, why the fuck wouldn't I tell him the exact price? Like, that shit, that would make sense to tell him before I actually make a payment on this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and that reminds me, and this is how we can probably merge it eventually into this topic we were supposed to talk about.
Or we could just keep this a short episode and then record that next one.
No, because I have something else for the next one, so I don't think we can.
All right.
But either way, so essentially, you get so caught up in the creative, so immersed in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And this ties into everything we just mentioned, that you don't even realize the aftermath of the butterfly effect or like the trickling effect of the shit that you say or do.
Is it because you feel so accomplished?
No, not at all. Not
No,
even
I mean
close.
accomplished in the fact that you created something.
No. It's because I feel so obsessed over creating something, creating it, creating something that matters, that the minute details low key escape me in them situations, if that makes sense. So, for example, like the latest collection, you know what I'm saying, the Wanted collection that I've been working on, right?
Did I send you that video
You
about Kanye West?
which one?
Because what you just said is exactly the same thing Kanye
I
West
sent you
said.
a video about Kanye West like a day ago.
That, bro, okay, yes.
Oh, I was about to say you didn't send me. I sent that motherfucker. That was crazy.
That was a crazy video.
bro. And we'll touch on. So the
You talking about
backstory-
the one where the shoes, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So-
yeah, fire.
So the and let me just finish though real fast. So essentially, I'm so obsessed with like creating it, whatever that is in my head, that certain minute details like pricing or like quantity or specific detail, like for example, like nigga, the fucking text, right? I didn't even think this should be capitalized. Something simple.
On the Wanted shirts.
Yes,
I got
something
you.
so simple. It's like that should have been capitalized. When you said this shit, I'm like, what the fuck did I miss that? Like, why the fuck did I even type it that way? I was so ready to get it out. So, you be so immersed in that creative, and it's such a good feeling. The feeling's phenomenal. When you're riding that shit, it's just hits. You dig? So it's just like that's why I respect you because. And I probably, and I'm gonna try to do this more, to be honest with you. I need to get you more incorporated in the shit that I'm actually like envisioning doing. Insert that into what you got going on because you're like almost like a break mechanism. Hey, whoa, you should probably think of this, or hey, consider this. Because there's certain things that you'll bring up after I create something that I'll be like, I ain't want to fucking hear that. Like, the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting you mentioned that because I was thinking of my involvement in the design process too. And now that our roles are more clearly defined than they were in the beginning, I still think that there's some refining that's going to occur the further we get into this.
Yes.
But at this point, our roles are starting to become more defined. And, you know, you're the designer and I'm more on the side of administrative stuff, right? You know, and at least more now after our discussion that occurred off camera with me involving with the manufacturers and the negotiations and the numbers and everything. So, you know, for you, the design process now is the chief thing, you know? And so for me on this side of things, I don't necessarily want to be a break as much as I want to be like, because break seems negative to me. I don't want to stop anything you got going on over there. You know, I just want to like reflow you.
And I respect that, but you got to understand too, a break isn't just a stop. It's a slow down.
Nah.
It's a redirect. Yeah.
But we don't want to slow down.
Okay.
Though.
Okay. No. Okay. It's to. How about this? More of a turning signal, or a signal in a sense, to where it's like you identify, hey, turns coming up, GPS vibe. No.
Nah, you can't attribute something as
So you gotta explain this.
You can't attribute something as trivial as a turn signal to the creative process, bro.
So you
this
have
would
to
be
help me
like,
understand it.
bro. It's like. You know what I'm saying? Like as a river cuts its way through stone. You know what I'm saying? I'm just finding you the path of least resistance. Like the creative process is, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to slow down. That's not what I'm not trying to slow you down. I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like you're a river. Let me redirect you so that way you're not running into this mountain, and let me redirect you over here to this soil. So now that your involvement, things grow.
So from a perspective of a guide, of
Pretty much.
a suggestion of reference, things like that, right? So what you?
That's pretty much it,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
and to be honest with you, even though and I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, you probably didn't know this, but when you told me that you weren't, you were gonna be more on the administrative side, I kind of say, yeah, fucking right. Like only from the sense of that I'm gonna need you more than just do the back end and the numbers and the marketing, because when it came down to it, I need you to believe in this shit as much as I do. And there's no way you're gonna fucking believe in this as much as I do if you're not in a part of the creation of it.
I agree
Because
with that.
when it comes down to like what's on it, how it fits, that's why in these situations in the creative like path, I look so forward to these situations where you get back and I get this, I've been excited for 2 weeks just to show you. I put these bitches back in the package just to like bring them back over here. You dig? And then got to pick up the shorts and all this other stuff, bro.
I didn't know you repackaged
Nigga,
them.
I repackaged the bitches and everything. I didn't wear them like that after I showed you
Yeah.
on the FaceTime
Yeah.
because it's like I wanted to see your authentic reaction when you put that bitch on. That's and it's crazy that something as trivial like that excites me. But I need you to put this bitch on, feel the butter, the quality,
And it was butter.
the quality, you dig? And then the part that I don't fucking want, but that I have to expect is there's gonna be some critique involved in it. There's
Yeah.
gonna be some realist. You're the type of person that if I had to attribute to would be more of not a perfectionist, but you're more of a
I just know what I want. Like,
Nah, that's not just you know what you want. That's not the part that I'm thinking about. You're more of a. I can't come up with the term right now, but we're gonna have to make one up as opposed to perfectionist, because it's not a perfectionist thing. It's more of you push the limits, right? So you like, yeah, this is dope. Like let's say this is a 10 out of 10 normal standards, right? You're gonna see like, well, like how can we break this bitch down? How can we bust this down and where it's like, how can we elevate it? You know what I mean?
oh, for sure. I'm a catalyst. There's no question about that.
A catalyst or an elevationist or something, however you want to. You said a logistics or
Logician?
logician, the last fucking episode. You know, I'm trying to come up with some fancy shit like you came up with, but I fucking can't, obviously. But pretty much for me showing you, I was expecting like a certain reaction, this, that, and the third. But I realized too that even during that reaction, I have to understand that there's gonna be some critique, right? So in the creative process, you're putting yourself out there for rejection, from paper making to design to measurements, all of that shit. You're putting something into reality. As far as the shirts come, like even though they have some errors to them, and even some of the errors actually elevate the project. I was expecting just like oh, this shit's fire. And I gotta realize, bro, if you just saying this shit's fire, yeah, it's cool every rare occasion, but at the same time, that's not why. If you're gonna be an echo, what the fuck's the point, right? You dig? So you was like, oh, well, this shit kind of weigh a little different back here. This thing. So it has me consider certain things. I don't doubt like certain ideas or certain aspects of the quality of the project, but it has me consider additional qualities and things. So that's what I wanted to attribute to the fact was of part of the creative process is the hardest part, which is putting yourself out there for one rejection, and two, the opportunity of growth. And those two things are kind of always in battle with the fact of creation, because you just want to be able to create, move on, create, move on, create, move on. And that's why I attribute to you to a break when you say I should more of a guide, is because you allow me to consider certain things that I like, signs or aspects that I should like look at before just moving on to the next the goal or objective. And that was something I felt like we did today. And why I wanted to start us off with the garments, because one, I was excited to show you about the shit. Just so y'all know, I got the reaction for the most part that I needed when it came to the quality, everything that I really was feeling about the product, and the garment itself, the design, everything. But at the same time, as a creator, bro, you have to be willing to receive the critique well enough to know that you're still true on your design, you're still true on your perspective, direction, but there can be some adjustments. The adjustment area is the hardest fucking part that I'm realizing.
Yeah, and just kind of putting myself in your shoes on this particular project, and having created things myself in the past and currently now, where, you know, where you're creating a physical thing, and the things that I'm creating are going to be are things that will be internalized, where you want what you create, at least for me, and I'm sure for you too, you want that first version to be it. Like,
one and done.
you want it to be one and done.
You want the one and done, bro.
You want it to be received as well as you know, as well as you received it yourself, right? You know, especially here, because it's tough, right? It's tough when you envision something here and then it comes out and it's not exactly the same. You know, so I'm sure there's a little bit of self-criticism for your own work during that process too.
Definitely.
But, you know, being comfortable with it, you know, and I commend you for that too, because it's tough. You know, you're offering up, you know, a piece of yourself, you know, is essentially what it is. It's like it's, and I think that's why it's tough, is because you created it. It is you. It's a piece of you. And so in a way, a piece of you is being critiqued, you know?
Yeah.
Could be a little bit of that in there.
It's almost like yourself is being critiqued.
No, it is.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. It's weird that it ties into it though, but it's like you're taking it personal because you personally created it. And the video that you brought up, and just to circle back to what you mentioned, right? So the video that he was speaking about with Kanye is more of the fact that, like, Kanye expresses to a person that tries to have him quantify which amount of his samples or his products that he was actually gonna like launch with, and Kanye was like, I don't fuck with numbers. Like, I'm not a quantifiable situation. Like, I don't want to quantify it. He was like, well, if you had to, like, he's like, well, let me ask you this, right? If your grandma showed up, you know what I'm saying, in town for your graduation with a cake, just popped up on you, are you really gonna quantify like what's in the batter, like what's in the frosting, or are you just gonna, you know, enjoy it? You know what I'm saying? So he said, like, you know, love. He said, like, what? He said, matter of fact, he asked him, like, what? How do you feel about sneakers and clothing? He said, I love them. Like, do you calculate love? Like, do you quantify it? And the way he just expressed this shit, I was like, God damn, like, that's crazy. He said he wants him to treat his product, his art form, like how he would treat his grandmas. Is the fact that, like, you know, it came from a position of just expression. You know what I mean? Stop calculating the shit and just, you know, receive what it is, type of shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, bro, it's simple. It's simple. You know what I mean? It's nothing crazy, but to just express that shit at the level that he's at, and a lot of people try to test this nigga for being like insane. And you low key have to be off to, like you said, to be on that type of level. But a lot of people ain't gonna see that shit for the same way. They're gonna see it like, oh, he only put out 2, only half of one that was good, type of shit. For me personally, that's one thing that I'm going into this like humbly and happy about, is really like, even in the midst of rejection, regardless how minuscule or how heavy it is, that I'm still happy with what I created. Mm-hmm. I might be the only person wearing it, you dig? But I'm happy with that shit, mm-hmm. to the point where it's my own opinion that's going to deter me from it. It might not be for the masses. It might just only be for me. Cool. How many, and I was telling you about this earlier, was that I want us to get a certain amount of product like created and established within our complexity of Anime Kills. Like our circle, right? Me and you. Enough to where it's like, I can wear this, I can wear that, I can wear this. And I'm wearing multiple aspects or pieces of what I created. Some of these motherfuckers might not even be out yet, or available, or I might not even make available, but I was able to create them to the point where now, if people like it or don't like it, don't fucking matter. I do. I buy shit, and I want shit for myself. Like, I'm not buying shit for other people. I'm not creating shit for other people. I'm not wearing shit for other people. So why won't I approach that like Why won't I approach the same process with the same methodology when it comes to creating something? You know what I mean? So that process itself, which I would call you more of a refiner then, as opposed to a stop break then. Because when you're able to refine certain aspects, I think now that I think about it more, of the quality of the texture of the fit of the shape, as opposed to stop break. So refining, I would say, would be a better word, because refining is never a bad thing. It's always considered a good thing because you're honing something, right? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to your details, whether they're implemented or not, it refines the piece. You know what I'm saying? It definitively changes the piece, because anybody outside of that aspect of me and you, which are the originators of this brand, are more so opinions. If you think about it, they're just opinions. Mm-hmm. We're creating it, we're establishing, we're building it. It's more just opinions. Whether you choose to take somebody's opinion and use it for value is up to you and me. But when you or me say it, it's less of an opinion and more of a kind of like a refining aspect or opportunity. Whether we choose to use it or not is up to us in the aspect of, the realm of our business. And so, no, that's a random riff, but I was just thinking about that.
No, I mean, I whether the product is being refined or where we have conversations where I'm, providing input and getting you to maybe see adopt another perspective or a different point of view. It's to me all the same thing, like a guide is gonna be the same thing to somebody, mm-hmm. So I think it's all under the same umbrella ultimately, but I think, really just the goal is to, just to create. That's the goal. And I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, a few minutes ago when you were talking. So, from my perspective, I think everyone has the same ability and opportunity to create, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So
let me ask you this.
And I think, and I think ultimately that's what people want to do. Mm-hmm. People want to create. People want to do something that can be left for others to enjoy. I think deep down that's what we all want to do. Whether it be, children, having children and creating a family, or whether it be, cooking or, building a house. Like everything is creation. Everything's creation.
That's a good point.
Let
me ask you this then. When it comes to that, your understanding of creation, right? In your best words or best options as far as words, how would you describe the feeling after you create something?
Hard to describe.
Very. That's what I'm asking you. I try to ask. You've been hitting me with the hard questions. So, which anime am I going to pick for the rest of my life, nigga? This is payback. So go ahead and figure that out. Give us a fucking answer.
Truly, the feeling's indescribable. I can give you an example. So the thing that I do the best is, well, not what I do the best, but the thing that I like creating is, you know, I just I like to come up with quotes, you know, and I like to write, and I like to create challenges for myself, and I like to get rid of old thoughts and old behaviors and create a new version of myself. That's the best way that I do it. And then ultimately, you know, package those things and then help other people do the same thing. So the feeling that I get, especially when I come across others that have done the same, is just I get a feeling really of solidarity, and I get a feeling of, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm headed in the right direction. And that feels good. That feels good to know that, okay, if I'm heading in the right direction and I'm on the right track, then that means I'm getting closer to my goal. You know, I'm getting closer to where I want to be. And so that feels good. You know, I was reading this book called Flow, and there was a quote in there from Viktor Frankl. And he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And the quote is, you know, happiness, it's not necessarily the pursuit of happiness. It's that, you know, happiness ensues. So, you know, obviously happiness isn't a destination. Like, there is no final point where you're finally happy, right? So as long as you're in the pursuit of something. So I think creating is a pursuit of something. And that something, I think, is non-physical. It's not tangible per se. Because I think human beings have a natural inclination for expansion. And so we try to find that things first physically, because we're not totally aware of the fact that that need for expansion is non-physical. So first we try to find it, you know, loving another person, right? Making love, you know, two become one in that process, and then you become a larger being. And then we try to find that in money, and then we try to find that in career success. And then, you know, other people find it in other ways through, you know, drug use or whatever, right? We're all chasing, we all want to expand. And so creation is the closest thing that we're going to get to that non-physical expansion, because ultimately that's what happens.
Shit.
I'm
gonna keep it a stack with you, bro. Like that 2-3 minutes was probably the hardest I had to go through without having to give you any like listening cues or kind of respond or react. Because you know I'm working on that, right?
I know.
Interrupting.
I know.
Fuck. That's all I can say is fuck. Your description of that was fire as fuck. Just understanding the aspect of happiness not being something tangible. Because we always associate happiness with tangibility, like some manifestation, some physical, and it's not always related to that, right? It's always a pursuit of something in general. Like, for example, I just want to be successful. That's the most intangible thing you can fucking say. Like, 'cause considering
right.
me waking up today and going to the gym and then coming, you know, that could be a successful day. Me even waking up can be like start at the beginning can be a successful day. It's just the fact that everybody's is so
relative, right?
Relative.
Yeah, it's different for everyone.
And the intangibility of it makes it more realistic. That it's never let me not say never. That it's not the same for every one person. But the biggest thing is it's not, and this is going to be the hardest thing to explain, it's not measured the same as every one person. It's the best way of describing it. And how you just put it was just crazy. Expansion is really the only generalistic way I can understand it. Whether it's like procreating, creating a child, creating a family, creating a household, creating financial wealth, creating cloth, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
The fact that that's the best way to put it, at least to my perspective right now. There might be another motherfucker smarter and more further ahead than us than we are in our age, which likely there are plenty of them. Is I would love to hear their perspective on just that, because you always want to understand somebody's perspective from the end of the journey, because that's going to give you the best anchor when it comes to like what to consider. Just the shit you mentioned. Damn, bro, like I can consider everything that you talked about as being an opportunity to be happy, but none of the sames as being an opportunity to be happy, because it's all relative. It's crazy.
You know, I think ultimately, and every discussion, if carried on long enough, will eventually end up at this point, and that ultimately we're preparing for one thing: the dissolution of the body, and then what occurs after that. You know, so I think creation is a path to like pure creation. You know, what you're doing, right? Pure, right? That's a path that leads you back to the source, because that's where creation comes from ultimately.
Oh, I never considered that.
Yeah.
That's a good ass way of putting that shit.
So, you know, and I read this in a book, like, you know, in order to, I forget which book it was, and now I'm really going to go search for this quote, because, I mean, it was earth-shattering to me, you know. So really the only way that you're going to create at your best is if you involve God in that process. And then the only way that you get back, and then the only way that you create, so the only way that you create something good is if you involve God in that process. And then by involving God in that process, you secure your, you know, for what happens next, which is in preparation for that.
Which is the most unknown.
Yeah.
What happens next?
I mean,
because you only know if you can know. Let me not be like cynical about it. You can know. But the only way you can experience is if you go through that experience, essentially. And to go through that experience,
I mean, whatever gets you. I mean, honestly, whatever gets you closer. Like, I mean, you know, we were, like, this is. You know, what else are we here for? What else are we here to do? I mean, let's just be real about it. We're not here to work. No, we're
imagine if we were just here to create it.
I mean, seriously, like, is that really what we were given a brain for? Is that really what we were given, like, this amazing dexterity for? This amazing, you know, these amazing bodies that can survive and withstand, and the amount of stamina that the body can produce and adapt to, and this different sort of environments. Like, really, is that what we're meant to do? So we're meant to work for, like,
not even work, bro. Like, consider like the bare production of a human: eat, shit, piss, birth.
I mean, physiologically, the body is like, I mean, it's pretty primitive.
Yeah, is that it? Nah.
No, that's not it.
And no, I know it's not it. What I'm saying is, like, just to kind of play off what you're talking about, just think about it. Like, us as individuals, we literally have bare functions or functionality, right? For creating, like, okay, let me relate it, right? The same thing with a human, same thing with something I create, right? There's a bare structure of it: t-shirt, shorts, garment, cloth, material, right?
Spacesuit, battle armor.
Or my nigga Dune, you know what I'm saying? The whole vibe, right? Or just like equipment, whatever it may be, right? The bare essentials of it. There's people that come and compound on top of that, or change or adjust something that turn it into art, canvas. Fucking everybody works with the same materials, atoms. Same bare base material. What they create out of that shit can be here is just a standard white blank canvas, or here as a piece of art, right? So you can use the same necessities, the same very compound, change, adjust, and create something completely entirely different that shifts people's perspective or thought of some shit that transcends us even further.
It's all malleable, you know? And
That shit's crazy.
ultimately you decide, ultimately as individuals, you decide what you want to mold. You want to mold the physical reality, or do you want to take part in a deeper experience and mold the inner reality?
I didn't even consider that. I was just thinking all physical. I'm thinking fucking superficial as fuck. That's actually a good point.
That's my mind always oscillates to.
Because you can billions of people doing this at the same time fucking change the game. Has changed the game.
Oh yeah.
Will continue to change the game.
Yeah.
That shit's fire.
Yeah. So I mean, you pick and choose. I mean, and you know, everyone is as equally capable in my opinion. So
the point of this conversation really is just stop being a basic ass bitch and go
summation. We're summing.
stop
now
being a basic ass bitch and go create something. Whatever.
I mean, for real, like, you know, like, I mean,
create a sentence, create a conversation, create an interaction, create a haircut.
Just do something, because
Fucking create
you know,
something.
like, it's gonna require you to be a better person each and every time you do it. Otherwise, you know.
And the craziest part about this shit, and we'll leave y'all with this, is that when you do create the first step and it's the second step and this and the third, like just like every goat, they don't end on a, like, I don't know a goat that's ever ended on a bad, like, you know what, the last time I created was the worst. I can't even think of one. Their extension and credibility extends so far. It's like the accumulation of works. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Body of work. The discography.
Discography. The
15
biopics.
seasons, you know? So
15? God damn.
I don't know, you know?
Motherfuckers is going, hey, strong with 15 seasons. LeBron James is the 20
It's on 20, right?
Niggas on 20, bro.
That's wild.
Unheard.
That's crazy.
The GOATs.
Longevity. Yeah.
They all creating something that in current perspective is unattainable.
Well, and so are we. So
until we are. Let's go.
Yep.
All right, Shaw.
Yep. Hey, look, and if you guys didn't get anything from this,
Shit, we did.
we did.
Yeah.
Peace.